So for the second Jack Kirby special video that I'm going to do, I actually picked a series that I'm not sure if many people know about him. I never heard about him before until just recently. I've never seen any modern interpretations of him, so I don't know how familiar he is, but it's The Machine Man. And basically I was looking through Jack Kirby's bibliography and I saw Machine Man and I thought, oh, that name sounds kind of interesting. So I clicked on it and read the premise and I really liked it. Like it's almost kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Mega Man, where basically this guy created a robot who acted like a human and he ended up raising the robot as his son, kind of. I mean, it's basically the premise of Mega Man, which kind of makes me wonder if the creators of Mega Man read The Machine Man. So this issue came out in April of 1978, but this character actually had a previous appearance. He appeared in the comic book adaptation of 2001 A Space Odyssey, and he appeared in issue number 8. But anyways, yeah, The Machine Man, he's the living robot. And then we get this pretty cool cover. Does a perfect job of explaining the premise of this issue. We can tell we have like a robot. We can tell he's a robot because A, the title, and B, we see like his little, we see one of his arms extending, and we have the military behind him trying to chase him down. That's exactly what this whole issue is about. So, amazing. And then we get also on the cover, they made him in their own image, then condemned him to death for being too human. Hunted, hounded, he fights to survive in a hostile world. I was like, yes. Like, that sounds awesome. Oh, man, I love these old issues. I can't stop gushing. But I love like old classic comics. There's just something amazing about them. I really wish that like modern day comics would, kind of go back to this kind of style. Not necessarily the artwork, even though the artwork, I really enjoy this artwork, but just like the way that they do things. I don't know. But yeah, we get a little, get the splash page. Before I get into the actual image and all that stuff that was going on, I'm just going to read the little top. It says, this is the story of X-51, a thinking computer in the form of a man. As Aaron Stack, he tries to find a place in the world that's not quite ready for his kind. But will he find it as friend, foe, or the greatest hero of them all? And then Stan Lee presents The Adventures of the Robot with the Soul. Even though I don't think Stan Lee has anything to do with this. This was edited, written, and drawn by Jack Kirby. It says, he looks like a man. He thinks like a man. I don't know why like the he looks like a man reminded me of Mad TV, Miss Swan. He look like a man. But yeah, he looks like a man. He thinks like a man. But nowhere in this world is there anyone as exciting and different as Machine Man. And I'm like, not even half a page, and you've already like perfectly described this character. Like you've set him up perfectly. I know exactly what he is. I know he is a computer who is trying to find his place in the world, but humans are kind of scared of him. He looks like a man. He thinks like a man, but he's nothing like a man. Like, we haven't even gotten into any actual dialogue or anything. We're still on just the very front splash page. We're only like in like half of a splash page, and you've already set up exactly what this character is. Like, this is fucking perfect. So yeah, basically there's a group of hikers, and I guess one of them slipped and fell off a cliff, which seems to kind of be like a Jack Kirby thing, because I just did the Forever People where a couple rode their car off a cliff and then were saved. And now we get the Machine Man, where this one hiker slipped off a cliff and he was able to grab onto the top, the cliffside, and he's being saved. So yeah, we get very first page, we get an introduction of the character, and we see his power, one of his powers, where he's extending his arm. And then we continue to the next page where we see him extending his arm to a hiker, and then his arm actually does this cool thing where these like spokes pop out of it, so it's almost like his hand turns into a ladder. And the original plan was to basically climb up his arm like a ladder, but he slips and falls, and Machine Man jumps off the cliff and he's like, "There's no choice. I must cancel gravity and scoop him up in midair. This may startle the hikers, but it will save a life." And then he grabs the hiker. Uh, I, like I mentioned in the Forever People, I like the dialogue just because of how like old school it is. "I've got him. You'll never hit bottom, chum. Just stop that screaming and relax. The worst you'll suffer is a case of jitters." Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, he saves the hiker and brings him back up to the cliffside and reunites him with the rest of his friends. And then uh we get this advertisement. This is classic advertisement. I've seen it so many times in old comics, and it's the sea monkeys. Super sea monkeys. Just add water, create life. Instant pets. Bullshit. It's not sea monkeys, it's nothing but brine shrimp. But yeah, this is classic. Sea monkeys. Do any of you guys remember sea monkeys? Did they actually create a cartoon? I could swear like in the 80s they created a Sea Monkeys cartoon series. But yeah, Sea Monkeys. I thought this was kind of funny too. They have Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew t-shirts. But look at the quality of it. I mean, this is from 1977, but look at that. Like, you can't even make out what the hell we're seeing. Especially look at this one on the left. Like, it's just like blobs. I can't see their faces. Only $5. Only $5, and you can get this blob shirt of Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew. All right, back to the comic. So yeah, the hikers are astonished at the Machine Man. They want him to do demonstrations, but he doesn't want to do it. So they want to basically ask him a bunch of questions and stuff like that, but he doesn't want to have any. He doesn't want none of that. So he's like, just call me Machine Man. Now, unless your boots are as highly magnetized as mine, I'd avoid the cliff's edge if I were you. Goodbye, gang. And then he walks down the cliff. Meanwhile, in the top secret division of governmental research, we get Dr. Broadhurst. So yeah, we get basically a brief exposition of Machine Man and all that stuff. So like, what happened here, Doctor? I understand that the X models, which is what the Machine Man is, he's one of the X models. I understand that the X models were not only unwisely conceived, but that they functioned too well. Yes, the operation was a success, but the patients died. The X models were machines in the form of men. They had the capacity to function under almost impossible stress, yet they had to be destroyed. What went wrong, sir? Those marvelous neo-human mechanisms developed an ailment common to all men. They suffered an identity crisis. So yeah, they suffered an identity crisis, which drove them mad. And the X models, yeah, basically like he's saying, they ran amok and started attacking people. The security forces took heavy casualties to shut them down, but they did. They were able to destroy all the machines, but one. And basically, his name was Abel Stack. He was a brilliant psychologist, and yeah, but he too was martyred to this crime. He took one of those X models into his home and treated him as a son, and that was X-51, who became known as Aaron Stack, who we just saw as Machine Man. But yeah, this government agent basically tells Dr. Broadhurst, I have here a federal order for the dissolution of all research in this complex. This also calls for the apprehension and destruction of the X-51 model known as Aaron Stack. So yeah, the government wants to destroy the Machine Man, basically because they think that he might end up going crazy like the rest of his fellow models. So yeah, we see Machine Man walking down the road, and he comes across this driver who is stuck because a tree has fallen over and blocked his path. And Machine Man, easily lifts up the tree and throws it out of the way. And we get this other advertisement for Star Wars. Oh man, I love this artwork. If I could find this image without all this like advertisement info, just the the Death Star with the X-wing flying through space, being chased by a TIE fighter, like I would love to like blow that up into a poster and hang it on my wall. I don't know. I really love this artwork. Sorry if I get distracted by the advertisements. Like I said, like I love like the old school advertisements and these classic issues. Like it's just I don't know. It's just to me. It's I guess it's like a piece of history. It's great to see like what people were like into and like what was like the end thing. What was whether it's like the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew or Star Wars, which obviously was big in the late '70s, and just like like sea monkeys and stuff. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I see it kind of as like a part of history. Like, to me, I'm one of those people like I love seeing what people like what the big thing was like back in the day. Like, so I love looking at these advertisements. So sorry if I get off track sometimes on those. But back to the story. So the machine man lifts the tree out of the way and dumps it, and the driver is thankful and says, "You know what? The least I can do is give you a ride." So the machine man's like, "All right, that sounds fair enough." And the driver is basically, I don't mean to pry, but a little small talk would put us both at ease. So yeah, the name of this guy is Spaulding, Peter Spaulding. He's the name of the driver. I should have mentioned that earlier. But yeah, his name is Peter Spaulding. So they're riding in the car, and we get more of Machine Man, where he's like, strangely enough, Mr. Spaulding, my aim in life is to live just like Johnny Average, and take no more than is guaranteed in our Constitution. Oh, I love this dialogue. Spaulding's like, that seems like a simple, forthright ambition. The American dream is a good dream. Of course, if one wasn't exactly Johnny Average, he might develop a compulsion to lose himself among a crowd that large. It's a urge common to those who feel they don't belong. And Machine Man's like, if you're referring to me, you've missed the mark. I'm a well-adjusted and rational individual. All I want to do is stay that way. There are obvious differences between you and me, but they're not mental. Fine and dandy. So, Peter Spaulding is a psychiatrist, and I guess he offends Machine Man without knowing. He says, "Fine and dandy. Only I can walk among people without fear of being noticed." And Machine Man's like, "Now get this, friend. I've got nothing to hide and much to be proud of. You're probably a psychiatrist with the yen for spot analysis, which I recommend that you stop immediately." And then Machine Man decides he was like, "Getting a no price for good guessing isn't my idea of amusement. Goodbye, Spaulding." So yeah, Spaulding is like, it's sorry to be such a drag, but you do have a problem. Come to see me in Central City. I'm in the book. And then we get this cool thing where Machine Man basically turns his shoes into skateboards. And I'm like, in the previous video, Forever People, I mentioned we saw cell phones, we saw a smartphone in that issue, and this was decades before smartphones became a thing. And now we get the I don't know what they're called, but the shoes with the wheels on them that lets you skate around. That's in this issue, which kind of makes me wonder, did Jack Kirby have a time machine that he can see into the future? So Machine Man, he turns his feet into a skateboard and he just zooms around through traffic. And as he's zooming through traffic, he zooms in front of a police car, and the police give chase and decide to call in a chopper because there's no way they can catch up to him. So Machine Man disappears off the road and into the woods. And then we cut to a government institute, I guess, where we have a bunch of army soldiers getting ready to take on Machine Man. They're getting prepped up, and they have subsonic rifles. The design for these kind of look the same as the what were they called again? The cavity creeps from Forever People. It was the gravity something. I forgot. Gravity guards. I mean, look at their faces. It's the same design. They also all look the same too. Maybe the whole army's just clones or something. But yeah, we get Dr. Broadhurst talking with Colonel Cragg, who is in charge of taking down Machine Man. And basically, Colonel Cragg has a vendetta against Machine Man, not necessarily Machine Man in personal, but against the X models, because the X models killed a lot of Cragg's soldiers and he also took one of his eyes. So Colonel Craig has like this huge like vendetta against X models, which is why he's like super gung ho about destroying Machine Man. And yeah, they're able to track down Machine Man because they have a homing device, and they have like a homing device in Machine Man's skull. So they use that to basically track him down. So yeah, we see Machine Man just like walking through the fields when a chopper arrives and shoots him with a sonic weapon. And the sound waves have dispersed my circuits. My anti-gravity unit won't function, and I've lost control of my right leg. So they've like crippled him, and he sees like a bunch of soldiers like arriving. But luckily, he has a finger weapon system. I thought this was kind of cool. Basically, like as you can see, he has like these things on his fingers, and like one of them, he's able to shoot out flames. So he shoots out like this huge ring of fire around himself, basically between himself and the soldiers, so they can't get to him. But soldiers like like sonic waves can penetrate the barrier, so let's just shoot into it. And they see him, and they see him like trying to get away, so they shoot at him. And like one of he uses his finger weapons to I guess shoot like a laser, and it shatters one of their rifles. I don't know, like I really like. I think this is like so cool. He's like Mega Man meets like Inspector Gadget, but obviously he came first. Like I love this whole like there's even more cool gadgets that arrive. Like right here, where basically the flames like pick up, and under the cover of the flames, since he can't use his legs, he actually has arm treads, basically like like tank treads, and they appear like under his arms, and he basically uses that, and he like drives himself away from the soldiers. And he sees a sign, Central City, and then he's reminded of Peter Spaulding. Like he's like, Peter Spaulding lives in Central City. I'm not happy about striking up a friendship with a psychiatrist, but he did offer his help, and right now I'm in urgent need of it. And then that's where the issue ends. So yeah, that's the first issue of The Machine Man. Ah, man, like I need to go back and I need to start reading more Jack Kirby stuff, because they are. I read The Forever People, freaking loved it. I read Machine Man, freaking loved it. I'm sure you guys will be able to guess what series I'm going to be doing on Friday. I'm not going to say it, but I'm sure you guys are going to be able to guess. But I'll just say that I read it and I freaking loved it. Jack Kirby is amazing. I love his writing. I love his artwork. He does a phenomenal job of just like setting up everything. Like I mentioned earlier, like just the very first page, I already knew like everything that I needed to know about Machine Man. And then throughout the issue, it did a great job of expanding on that character and showing us like the gadgets and abilities he has, and why he's being attacked by the military. Like this is just a phenomenal first issue, and I can't wait to read the rest of this series. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Are there any Machine Man fans out there? Has a Machine Man been in anything recently? I know I believe Marvel owns the Machine Man rights, because this was a Marvel issue. So unless they like sold the rights to DC, I believe Marvel owns the rights. Has there been anything recently with Machine Man? I haven't. I've never heard of this character, but if there is, I really want to see it. So like let me know if there's any like modern interpretations. If he like appears in a ongoing series or something. I don't know. Just if there's any like modern interpretations of this character, please let me know, because I would love to check it out. Next time I get a chance, though, I'm gonna finish up this series. I'm gonna finish up Forever People, and then I'm gonna finish up the next series that I'm gonna do a video on Friday. But yeah, this Machine Man issue number 1. Oh man, like I'm just like gushing. Like I think maybe like Diversity in Comics. Like I've been watching some of his latest videos, and I can see he's like starting to lose it, especially with America Chavez. He was like losing his fucking mind on that. I think maybe he needs to like read some old school comics, cause yeah, I'm freaking loving this. Is why I don't want to. I don't want to turn into other channels that do rant videos, because I rather read stuff like this. I rather read stuff that like I'm just like constantly gushing over and just freaking falling in love with. That's what I want. I want my channel to be just like nothing but like positive stuff. Like, you know, so that's why most of my reviews are like really positive. Um, I've said this before, but yeah, I try to read stuff that I either know I'm gonna like or I assume I'm gonna like. And I don't want to, so I don't go out and pick up America Chavez because I know I'm gonna hate it. I don't go pick up Captain Marvel or Wasp or Black Panther or like I've given up on Spider-Man. Like I gave it a couple of issues, both like Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man. I stopped those. I will probably stop Edge of Venomverse because that sucks. I am not going to be wasting my time, my money, and my energy on shit comics just so I can rant at them, when instead I can pick up freaking amazing stuff like this, and like amazing stuff like Machine Man and Forever People and just like all these other just like great series that I am just like falling in love with. Like, this is what I rather do. Unfortunately, that means less views because people tend to really love videos of people ranting at Marvel. I noticed that like my highest view counts for videos are the videos where I'm bashing Marvel. But I think just for peace of mind, I rather take a hit on my viewer count and just do series that I absolutely love and just keep this channel positive. Because I think if I had done nothing but like modern Marvel, I think I would hate the comic book industry, like, and I would probably have given it up again. But because I'm not, because I'm going on my way to read stuff that I know I'm going to enjoy, like, I'm just falling in love with this hobby all over again. So yeah, I've asked before, I'm going to just ask again. Would you guys like to see me do reviews on old series? Because I love reading this kind of stuff. I love reading like old classic comics. They're amazing. Like, the artwork. Like, I'm one of those people where I kind of love the old classic artwork. Like, I'm a huge fan of anime, and I love like 80s anime in that style. And while I do watch a lot of modern anime as well, like I don't know, like there's just something about that classic retro look that always just kind of I gravitate towards. But I love the artwork. The writing is freaking phenomenal. I love reading the classic advertisements. Just like everything about these old issues, it's just it intrigues me, and it's something that I enjoy. I don't know about you guys, but I really love this kind of stuff. But yeah, Machine Man issue number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be doing one more classic Jack Kirby series on Friday, so be sure to check that out. And I'll catch you guys all next time. Later.